Hello everyone, how are we all doing today? Hope we're all having fantastic evenings if you're in the UK, or if you're in America, having a fantastic afternoon. Afternoon. But yeah, I hope we're all doing well. Thank you for everyone who's stopping by. Um, this is going to be a very weird podcast because not only was it planned quite last minute, which is weirdly, it should be my style, but it's not. But also, like I'm probably the most unprepared, so I hope you guys can bear with me today. That being said, today's guest is none other than the one and only wonderful Bulletbonnie. How are you doing, Bonnie? Hope you're having a lovely day.
Everybody. Thank you, Chris. I'm having a fabulous day. I appreciate you bringing me on.
I'm glad. I'm glad. And one thing that I forgot to mention, Bonnie, is that this is obviously being a live podcast. The chat is on the overlay, so you're more than welcome to respond to chat as well. Forgot to mention that, but yeah. So that being said, hello, Brit. Forgot I opened the stream and heard that noise, and I am awake. Yeah, that is the way. You just hear the static sound like the, and then yeah. Oh, you gotta love it, like when you get like free stuff somewhere, like free transitions. When people give you stuff for free, that is just mwah. But yeah, that being said, it's not just about what you get for free. That's not the thing about podcasts. It's about the streamer that I have as a guest. Love free stuff. And so, yeah, Bonnie, my first question to you is, I mean, it was how you doing, which is always the important question. But the second question that I have for you today is, so I said that I didn't do well, I said I wasn't really prepared, but I did do some last minute research. Oh,
I just noticed my headset was backwards.
uh, you gotta love it. Um, But yeah, so I did go and read your bio about an hour before stream started, and it said that you started streaming in January 2021. And I think the first question, which is probably going to be an obvious question, is how was streaming in 2021 back then when you started for you?
Well, I think the biggest difference for me between now and then is the fact that I started off as a PS4 streamer. So I didn't have anything fancy. I did obviously as a beginner streamer, you have to work your way up to affiliate to get all of the fancy things like emotes and start getting paid and everything from Twitch. But back then I didn't have a PC, so I was just running off my PS4, playing Dead by Daylight, Apex, and um, it was a wild ride, but honestly, I feel like for me, my affiliate status, I actually feel like I got it pretty quickly. I got it within, I think, maybe a month of starting streaming,
Oh yeah,
um, which
which
I
is
feel
four
like compared
times
to some
faster
other
than I
people.
did. I got in 4 months, so yeah, that's pretty fast. I've seen people do it in like a week. Like it's
Yeah.
genuinely crazy how fast some people get affiliate, and I'm just like that. It's kind of unbelievable, like to see it happen. And I think that just goes to show that when it comes to growth on Twitch, it is very luck based. It's not like about who's the better streamer because I think that stuff is so subjective to the point where you can't say there's a good streamer or a bad streamer. There are just streamers that are and streamers that aren't. But yeah, it's as you said. Like a lot of people do like get started with PS4 when they have if they have a PS4. I didn't, but we'll not worry about that. But yeah, a lot of people get started with streaming using their PS4, and like one thing I don't know what it is about specific like seeing PS4 streamers on Twitch. It's like it's almost nice in a way to see something that when you watch streamers, especially the big ones, you can see that they have like a high budget to their stuff. Like they've got very expensive setups. It's something nice and a bit more
Yes.
at home when you see someone streaming via a console. I would say, like personally, because yeah, like would you say the same thing? Like when did you feel a bit like more homely when you were using your console over using your PC?
Honestly, I wouldn't say it's a preference for me to stream on my PS4, but not having a cam, at least for myself, not having the cam uh on me all the time, I felt like did allow me the freedom to I could just kind of do whatever I want in a sense. Like there wasn't a camera on me at all times, and I wasn't really I don't feel like I'm expected to act a certain way, but I do feel like I'm expected to look a certain way with having my PC and being a PC streamer now. And that's just with the fact that you see so many other PC streamers and you're trying to match their energy, you're trying to match like what they're providing, and keeping up with that and keeping up with the look of being, I guess, essentially a PC streamer, it can be really draining at times. And I feel like the PS4 for me, not having to stream with the cam on it, I was kind of given that freedom to not have to look a certain way. Like I could stream in my PJs for all I cared,
Yeah,
and nobody would know. So
the dream.
I feel like in that way, it kind of gave me a little bit of freedom with the way I did look on stream, but um, and I do agree with like the homey feeling. It's definitely different going from a PS4 stream to a PC stream or even just watching it. You get completely different vibes from the streams, I feel like. And especially with the streamer too. Every streamer gives you a different vibe, but it definitely just kind of gives you a different perspective as to what it is streaming on a console to PC.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, especially like when you said about the, you're expected to look a certain way. Like, there's nothing a bit more. I don't think there's anything more like anxiety inducing than like, well, in streaming, than going for a certain amount of time without needing a face cam, only to suddenly like say, I've got a face cam now. Here's a face reveal, and worrying what
Right.
people will say. like, I have a giant forehead. So, people can just make you never know what people are gonna say. Um, like,
Highly.
yeah. Oh, I didn't ask. What? Yeah, no, I did ask you about your drink. Peach tea, you said, right?
Yes.
Oh,
Made myself some nice peach tea.
oh,
Um,
gotta love it.
I love tea, so
Yeah.
tea's like one of my most favorite things to drink.
I mean, yeah, I'm British, so I like tea as well. Just, just our kind of tea. Like, I have tried iced tea, but the weird thing that I find when you go to the supermarkets in my area, at least for that stuff, is when it comes to iced tea, especially the peach flavor, you can either get the type that is, really nice. It tastes almost like yogurt, like a nice flavored yogurt, or you get the times where it just tastes like fucking water, and then like no, barely any flavor to it, and you just like, ugh, like you feel a bit let down by it almost.
Yes.
Um, how do you say you make your like on a scale of water iced tea to yogurt iced tea? How do you find the teas that you tend to make? Oh,
Um, I would probably say ooh, it's definitely not watery tea. I feel like it tastes good, but I don't think it tastes as good as yogurt. I like I
mm,
like that you put those together.
yeah.
Um, like on a scale, I guess of 1 to 10, I would say my tea is probably a solid 7, maybe a solid
Oh,
8.
yeah. 7 out of 10 is
I feel
always
like.
good. I think the biggest compliment I was ever given before I started streaming is that I looked like a 7 out of 10. So, I mean that is true. Actually, I was once called genuinely 7 out of 10, and I genuinely thought it was a compliment. So, yeah. But yeah, like the reason why I said yogurt in particular is because I just remember like growing up, like, and I obviously when you're a kid, you like yogurts, especially when they are the yogurts without the bits in, just a pure yogurt texture. And then I just remember one, like I think it was the apricot flavor, and it tasted very similar to a peach iced tea that I once had. And then like, but then years passed since then, and then the last time I had iced tea was actually this year. Different brand, it's Lipton that I had, and it just tasted like water for some reason, not yogurt.
Yeah, Lipton is a very sketchy brand with their tea.
Yeah. It's funny how it only took one mention of drinks to go from streaming to tea. um, but you know what? That's what we're all about. We're all about our tangents, I would say. And actually, as a streamer, that's a good way to segue. Like, how many times would you say, like, on stream, you accidentally get into like a massive tangent about the most random thing?
Oh, honestly, like all the time. At least once a stream, at least, because something random will happen to me, or or something will happen to me in game. It'll remind me of something that happened in real life, and I will just start going on a tangent.
Oh yeah, like, and to be fair, when it comes to being a streamer, I think that's what you just need. You need to find a way to, have a nice, interesting tangent, I would say. But yeah, like it's like sometimes it's a case of you go from, one off comment about, uh, how you got a horse named Merlin, and then you talk about how great the TV show Merlin is, you know. But yeah, like. I wouldn't say like personally I've found that many times where I go off on a tangent because like normally it's like I guess in a sense it's like would you call it a tangent in that sense because it's providing a conversation and streaming usually does not have a theme to it. It's just like this is you, and these are the things that you talk about, um, and sometimes it's about what you like and what you dislike, like like I said, TV shows. And sometimes it's a case of you just focusing on the game in itself, and then like an interesting fact comes up about the game, and it's not really a tangent, I would say, but more like a bit like a part of like the streaming experience. Would you say?
Say so. I think the difference between just talking about the game or just talking about what you are streaming about, whether that's just chatting or you're talking about a game or you're watching something, I think the difference between a tangent and just having a discussion with your chat or just having a discussion overall is that a tangent is more, I feel like, passive aggressive, or you kind of are a little upset or angry about it, while as a discussion you're discussing something or you're talking about
Mm,
it in a light, you're either asking your chat about it. Like I think the biggest thing that comes to mind for me is that I made a tangent about a certain gun in Apex one time because I thought I died to it, and I was like, oh my god, I hate this gun, and I kind of went on a little bit of a tangent about it because I died to it and I was angry. And I was just like, "Oh, I hate this gun. This is why I hate it." And I started like discussing it in like kind of a heated way. Obviously not super angry, but uh it's more of just the way you go about talking about it. I feel like a
yeah,
discussion's an actual discussion, while as a tangent you're kind of just going off.
yeah. Like that is actually a very fair like comparison to make, where you got the discussion part and it's a conversation, and then you got the part where you just where it's a tangent and it's more of a rant, and then
Yeah,
going off topic, and then you just suddenly go back on topic, after the rant's over. Whereas with like I said, I think a discussion certainly has more flow to it in that sense. Um, yeah,
I would
like
agree. Yeah.
yeah. Um, like I think one of the shining examples of like I said with a tangent, like it's more of a terrible gun in Apex or in COD or anything like that, and then you just rant about how this one shotgun is a one shot kill and it's not fair. um, or like you could have a discussion where it's like, for example, like The Last of Us Part Two. I'm not going to spoil it to anyone who hasn't played it, but there's like a big moment at the start of the game, and then if you're in a streamer who's played the game, and they say, "What do you think of this moment?" and then it sparks a conversation of, or like with a certain character, it's like, yeah, it's you know technically still on topic, even if you're not doing exactly what the conversation's talking about. You may be on a completely different section of the game, but it's still about the game itself, I guess. So, yeah, I think I think that's certainly like a very healthy way, to go about things when it comes to streaming as well. Like, when it comes to a lot of streams, it's normally, when you're talking, you have these conversations, and it inspires. I love the Pokemon there. uh, but it inspires conversation from the community as well, and I think
Yes.
one thing that we can agree when it comes to streaming and gaming is that when we have these conversations, you do like have those moments where you're having it as a form of discussion, where you're, talking about how you're finding the game, but then you have like those one bad eggs who either go on a tangent or a rant or anything like that, talking about how much this one thing really, really sucks, and you're just like, okay, why are you here? um, have you had like any of those discussions yourself, like with a random community member?
Um, I'm trying to think back. I don't think I guess the closest thing I had to somebody bringing a tangent into my stream personally, like towards me or towards the game I was playing, was that I've had people try to uh, basically lead me in the way that I play the game because I'm all about if I'm playing a new game and I'm not sure what's going on, you giving me hints or you like explaining how to solve a puzzle within the game or how to get out of that room or whatever it is. I'm fine with people backseating the game and teaching me like little bits and pieces of it or helping me to solve this one part of it, but I don't like it whenever people lead me in the game or try to tell me how to play the game. And so uh I've had somebody come into my stream trying to basically lead me in the way that I played the game and how I went about um playing it, and it kind of sparked a little bit of rage, I guess, inside some hidden rage that was inside of them. Whenever I told them that I was just going to play the game how I played it, and like I thanked them for their advice, but I was just going to play how I played, and I think that just kind of sparked some hidden rage within them, and they just kind of went on a tangent about how all like every streamer they see play that game plays it in such a stupid way and they never play it like properly, and like there's a proper way to play a game. I think you're
Yeah,
allowed to play it however you want. And so I think that would be the closest thing I've had to somebody coming in and like kind of throwing a little tantrum in my stream. It's like trying to basically tell me how to play and how to run my stream.
yeah, like it's like you said, like telling someone like they're playing a game the wrong way is just incorrect, first of all, and it's also
Yeah.
like kind of like condescending, and you like it's like trying to. It's almost as if a way of saying, like it's almost like an egotistical way, rather, of saying that I am better at this game than you, and it's like, cool, great. I don't really care that you're good at this game. I'm enjoying it for me, not for you, dumbass. Like,
Right.
um, and there are times where it's like some people go like they flirt between the line of backseating in a helpful way and backseating in a way that is kind of condescending. Like when I started Dark Souls 2, I had someone like, who's I don't think ever chatted before, outright tell me how to, like it's Dark Souls 2, so it's Dark Souls 2. So the mechanics of the game is very odd to adjust to, in a sense. Like after playing Dark Souls 1, and to have like someone tell me how to kill a boss or like how to avoid attacks, I'm like, I'm working this out for myself. Please, please don't. Because it says first playthrough, but it also says no backsitting if I don't ask for it. So yeah, like that's probably the one thing. I'm sure it aggravates you as well. But when you have rules, you put the rules down, and people just don't read the rules. you know, like, oh, it gets annoying. I don't have rules as a command bear. Nice try. You have to scroll down for them. Um, did like actually that's a question. Do you have your rules? Well, do you have your rules like written down in like a panel, or do you have them like as a like unwritten rule, or do you have them as a command? Do you have anything like that in your streams?
Now that I think about it, I actually don't think I have a rules panel, which I probably should make. I do have some rules that pop up whenever you are like a first time chatter and you go to try to chat in my stream and that little thing pops up where you can see like the chat rules and everything. I do have that established. I don't have any rule panels, which thanks for reminding me. I probably should put one on. But I guess just I have uh I wouldn't say they're unwritten rules, I think they're just expected rules, like, simple things like just be nice, you know?
Yeah,
Don't come into the chat or, you know, being, an asshole, or don't come in expecting for a fight or anything, you know? Just don't come in harassing other people, don't come in harassing me. Like, things that I feel like are expected out of just individuals, like, just be a grown up and just
yeah,
act nice.
yeah.
Just things that are expected of people,
Like,
really.
yeah, and they're like you always have like those moments when it comes to like those unwritten rules where it's like one of the biggest unwritten roles, yeah, one of those biggest unwritten roles, right? um one of them is like when the streamer or a mod tells you to stop doing something, to just stop, don't argue it, don't, just, you know don't do it again. Like one of them being like, if you spam something in a chat and you ask to stop spamming, there are some people who decide, I'm going to argue against that rule instead of, stopping. And
Right.
like it's a shame that you have like so many times where, you've got wonderful people in your chat, but then like it's weird that the ones that you remember aren't, the moments that you remember, unless it's like a really funny moment or like a really epic moment, you're more likely to remember the casual moments that you have with someone who doesn't follow the rules, as you are remembering those who do follow the rules when it comes to just normal moments. And
Yes.
yeah, like it's a bit of a shame that that's how the brain works, but um, at the end of the day, it's a struggle for everyone. And I think the lesson to take away from this is, when there are rules, follow the rules. The rules are what make it all work. And yeah, just have a good time. That's the thing. It's like that with no matter what business you go in, streaming or otherwise. It's a case of here are the rules, don't break them, but make sure you have a good time, or at least you enjoy what you're doing. And it's just weird that so many people just don't see um, how, how like them breaking the rules. Like some people just don't understand why a rule is there in place. Um, and I mean, apart from the fact when sometimes it's a bizarre rule, like don't talk about lemonade. Don't worry. That's but like you also have like those rules where it's like it's there, but like you can certainly like draw conclusions as to why the rule is there, but to constantly question it is another thing entirely. Um, don't be mean to Bear. Uh, but yeah, like, and speaking of unwritten rules, you said DBD, I think, at one point, like, you played DBD. And one of the things that they have is a lot of unwritten rules in the communities. And I was just wondering, how many times have
Oh,
you,
yes.
how many unwritten rules are there, and what are they? How long do we have?
I think that depends on who you ask because there's unwritten rules for both sides. So if you are a survivor main or if you are a killer main, there is unwritten rules. There's the what they like to refer to as the survivor's handbook, which is basically a book of unwritten rules that are expected of the killer whenever they are trying to kill you. So like within the game, a lot of people, and you see this all the time, like through YouTube, through streaming, through TikTok, any kind of social media, you'll always see clips of a lot of the times a Dead by Daylight streamer complaining about how they got tunneled, which is like when the killer just chooses to chase them and kill them.
Oh
Or
yeah.
you'll have a lot of people complaining about camping, which is when the killer decides to, after they hook you, they stay in the region or the area of your hook. And you have a lot of people who always, especially with DVD, I feel like that's really a big one. A lot of unwritten rules that people are expected to follow when playing the game, and it's just like that. you'll have a lot of people who get mad at you. Like I have had people come into my chat. I've had a lot of lovely people come into my chat from Dead by Daylight, but I've also had some very mean people come into my chat from Dead by Daylight, especially when I'm playing killer and I don't do exactly what they expected me to do. So you have a lot of those unwritten rules in the interactions between those people, because YouTube videos, I'll see tons of those where people will post clips of streamers getting pissed off at killers and going into their chat and rate like just going off, talking about how they're a waste of space, talking about how they're dog shit at the game, they're a horrible killer, like saying stuff that's horrible, talking about how they hope they die, like really horrible things, just going into their chat, being very, very rude and mean and just nasty. And it's just so bewildering to me that you have those people out there who feel like they either they're as twitchy or they're just a normal player and they just feel like they deserve for the killer or the other survivors to play a certain way within their games. And it's like it's a multiplayer game where every single person that plays the game is a human individual behind the screen, and you are just thrashing on them because they didn't play the game you wanted them to play it
Yeah.
at, like you didn't want them to play it like. And it's just really bewildering to me that people can take
It
that and just run with it and use it as an excuse to be rude to other people.
it really takes you back to the golden age of COD, doesn't it?
Yes, oh my goodness, COD is another one.
Uh, COD especially, but yeah, like when it comes to the tunneling and like those certain unwritten rules like tunneling and camping, to an extent, I get why people would be annoyed by it because like it makes the game for the survivors less enjoyable, um, at least as a team. But also, like I also get the reality that it is an option to just leave them behind. You can just leave them behind, get your generators done. Open it up. They're just distracted by this one person you know,
Right. Mhm.
um, and especially like there is like a difference between trash talk and harassment when it comes to what you say to another player. Like, it's one thing to say you're shit at the game when you're going up against them, like in CODs, and then but
Mhm.
like being that be pre-game trash talk, and then like it, and when like it's more of a joke that's in like you're both in on, that's completely fine because you're both in on the joke, and ultimately neither of you are getting hurt by what the other's saying. But it's like you said, when they say stuff like I hope you kill yourself and shit like that, like that's when it starts getting a bit too much and people get way too into a game. And I hate to say these four words because for the most part they are untrue, but it's just a game. Um, like, why are you? I know you put a lot of hours into a game like DVD, but you shouldn't try and use your hours to justify being harsh to people who may have less hours or more hours. You don't know how many hours. You don't know their life. Into like a game like it's it really it really gets annoying to and I think that's the reason why a lot of the time nowadays you don't see a lot of people going into game chats anymore because it's just it's just harassment at that point. Um,
Yes.
because yeah, like I said, Golden Age COD that was the peak of game chat because that's the thing where you could just hear the most entertaining insults at players, but then it was still incredibly toxic at the end of the day, and for and for that to be I guess it is the reason why we don't see much game chat anymore. It's the reason why we get connected to streamers more because we've been in that community. We're more used to even if it's like text chats. We're more used to communicating with these people, and so we know the line, we know where not to draw it, and where not to cross it. And yeah, like it's certainly like a weird position to be in modern day video games. Especially when you're a streamer. Um, like you play DVD, and if you play public match, then you don't know if you're going to be having an enjoyable time or not. And so yeah. So when it came to DBD, and when you were playing online games and also Apex to that extent, were you always like someone who plays like either online or with someone, or was it a case of like you did one at one point and then as time went on when you were streaming, you shifted to the other side of that spectrum?
Um, Most of the time when I'm streaming, I'm an individual streamer, so I won't stream with company. Um, I have been interested in trying to do some community things, but uh, I also have a fear of that because you never know who's going to come into those and what they're going to say, how they're going to act. Um, and so I've kind of been wary of trying to stream with company unless I know them, unless I've played with them previously, unless I have like a good relationship with them. I won't stream with other people, mostly because of the fear of um, random people, like people coming in and saying things to me or to my community, or just saying things that are just really rude or derogative overall, just being like really rude. And mentioning Dead by Daylight specifically, uh, I think one of the biggest things when it comes to that for a streamer is when you go into it with Twitchy, I guess, in your name, or Twitch TV, or I guess YouTube TV, or whatever it is, you go into it with the expectation that those people you are gonna be tunneled, or you're gonna be a target for people because people
Yeah.
like to purposefully
Like
target
they go into
Twitchies
your
when they see
streams
them.
sometimes as well, and they just say the
Yes.
really harsh shit. Yeah. Uh.
And I saw that Bear brought up a really good point that some people they tunnel streamers a lot, and I've had that happen to me. I've had a specific individual come into my stream, or come into my game, see that I'm a Twitchy, and they tunneled me to get a reaction out of me. And they didn't receive the reaction they wanted. I actually was I thought it was really funny. I was just laughing the whole time that they were chasing me because I had a good chase with them, and then they ended up tunneling me and killing me. And overall, they came into my chat, and even before they even messaged in my chat, I was being super sweet. I was like, "The killer, you're
Oh
really
yeah.
good, GG's." Like, I was being super sweet, and they didn't get the reaction they wanted. But that instantly turned the relationship around for us because now they're one of the people that comes into my streams and is like really active. And they're now actually a really good friend of mine, and they're in my Discord. They follow me. Like, now they're one of my main followers basically, and now they watch my stream because I didn't give them the reaction they wanted. They wanted me
Yeah.
to rage and they wanted me to be angry, but instead I was really nice. We cracked a couple jokes about the whole entire thing, and then they ended up becoming a follower. And I was like,
Oh yeah.
I just kind of took that as a lesson, and I feel like a lot of people should take that as a lesson as to you should not let the game impact your emotions. Which at times I still rage, especially when I'm gaming by myself. Like, I'm trying to be a really hard boss, or I'm trying and I can't for some whatever reason. Like, I'll still rage, but
Yeah.
there's a difference between like raging at your own gameplay and like how you messed up within the game, and raging at somebody else and like
Yeah.
raging at what they did within the game. Because like I can get mad at myself for messing up in the game. I can be like, fuck, I'm so bad at this game. I'm trash. Like, I can get mad at myself all I want, but putting that rage onto somebody else because of their actions within the game is kind of ridiculous because you can't control other people.
Yeah. I
It's just
mean,
that
I
simple.
mean, you can't with that attitude. I mean, what? But yeah, like you said, it's okay to get mad at yourself and rage at yourself, or even rage at the game itself if it's a bit bullshit.
Right.
Just
Or something stupid happens, yeah.
gesturing towards Mario Kart.
Mario
Um,
Kart's a good one.
yeah. Um,
Those blue shells, I
uh,
swear.
not even the blue shells. Like I'm in 10th place. I'm in 10th, 11th, 12th place on the final lap. What do I get from the box? Triple mushrooms. Not,
Oh
a
my
golden
god.
mushroom, not a goddamn bullet bill, not a star, not even an infinite eight. I get mushrooms, mushrooms, mushrooms. Nothing to protect myself when I overtake someone, so I just get red shelled again, and then I end up in last. That fucking game. Um,
I think my favorite's bananas. Whenever you get
oh,
bananas.
I mean, to be fair,
You're like, what am I supposed to do with these?
first place bananas aren't bad. First place coins. That is just
Oh
hell.
my
Hell.
gosh.
Because it's with Mario Kart, it's every time you're first. It's not just, a 50% chance or anything like that. No. If you're in first and you got the box when you were in first, you're guaranteed to get a coin. And it's just so annoying that I can't get myself a banana or a triple banana or a green shell. And I'm just there, just, with a coin, like, what the fuck am I meant to do with this? Uh, and so yeah, like it's always like that's the reason why a lot of people say like the third lap is what matters with Mario Kart. The other two just don't. Like it's almost impossible to front run a Mario Kart game online. Um,
Oh yes.
yeah. Oh, that.
Especially if you put the computers to max. It's like what, like the 150 or whatever. Oh goodness. No,
No,
I don't even
no,
try at that point.
not 150, 200 cc.
Two 200 cc. It's like I don't even
Oh,
try at that point.
yeah.
They're too like
Oh,
they just get all the good stuff. I get hit
yeah.
with red shells and blue shells every other second.
There was one time when I was doing just regular 150cc on the Special Cup. First place for the first three races, and I got to Rainbow Road. And there's a clip there, and this is the reason why I hate Peach so much. I got I think a red shell behind me, but then I got struck by lightning. So did Peach, and then miraculously we're on the last corner as well, so I was just going straight ahead. Miraculously, Peach overtook me despite also being shocked and got the first place, which means I was so close to getting perfect on Special Cup, but because of that one race, that one shock, and that one fucking Peach, oh, and it doesn't just happen with just that one cup. Every time that I play as Bowser Jr. on computers, Peach is always there to fuck my day. Oh, it feels so good to rant about this off of Mario Kart stream. Oh,
I
oh,
feel your pain though. Mario
yeah,
Kart is it's an enraging game.
yeah. Oh, that being said, I still love it. I don't know why, I just do. Um, but yeah, when going back to talking about like it's okay to rage at at yourself and the game, but not people. Yeah, like that is completely a very sensible way to go about it, and yeah, it's like I said, a lot of people should learn that way. And if there's one thing that I don't know if Brit's still here, but she's the shining example of this. But streamers like Brit who they get like a hater come into chat, and they're just overwhelmingly calm about the situation. Like they're just there's the person coming in being a backseating asshole or saying very insulting things, and you just have someone like Brit saying, do you feel fulfilled doing that? Interesting, and responding very calmly about it. And then they get banned, and it's like it never happened, and it's just like I admire streamers like that. And that's probably why I admire you right now for just laughing about the fact that you got tunneled in a DBD game, while most would be raging. It's at the end of the day, we're all here for a limited amount of time. Unless you're Ben, in which case you're probably here for eternity. But let's not worry about that. But yeah, it's just like to to have a grudge, I would say, about a certain game and to get mad at a game. You're not going to make yourself happy doing that. So you're just going to make yourself more consumed, both in the game and in your own madness. And madness can change into toxicity. I would say. So yeah. Um, and once again, like I think one thing that people forget is that streamers are people. We are very human beings. That that I guess that's grammatically correct, but yeah. And we all have our own lives. Some of us own cats, like myself, and like you, Bonnie. Which I believe that's the reason behind your Twitch name, because you got one of your cats named Bonnie, right? If I recall.
Yes, I have duo. I have 2 cats, that are named Bonnie and Clyde for the duo. Um, I actually came up with my name, as I got my cat, Bonnie. She was the first one we got, and then we ended up getting Clyde. Bonnie's white and then Clyde's black, so they're, like, complete opposites. And I came up with the name Bulletbonnie whenever it was actually the same day that we went to go pick up Bonnie, um, and go get her. So it's kind of a momentous occasion, and it's kind of like a really special name to me because um, I thought of it on the spot, and it reminded me of my kitties, and like they're my precious little baby ones. They're my babies, and I love them so much.
Yeah. Oh, cats really are the best, aren't they? And to be fair, like Bonnie is a really lovely name. Um, both for I think it's one of those names where it's just a lovely name no matter what's being called it. It could be a cat, it could be a human, it could be a name of a street, Bonnie Street. Why not? It'd be a good name. And there are rarely ever like those names where they just fit all the occasions. And I think Bonnie's certainly up there. Like you wouldn't, I don't like think Chris would work everywhere. Um, you wouldn't call a street Chris. Chris Avenue. Sure, why not? Um, that
I
it's
think Chris is a lovely name.
thanks. Um, and actually, that is also a conversation to bring up when it comes to names. Like, obviously, like a lot of people know this already, but my birth name is Christian, and the reason why I changed my name so that people call me Chris instead of Christian is because I spent my entire childhood with people joking about the fact that my name was Christian. I must believe in God and all that shit. Even people who came to me preaching about fucking Jesus, um, they're like, what is your name? I said Christian, and they're like, oh, so it's meant to be. No, it's fucking not. Go away. Uh, and when it comes to names, so we know that the Bonnie part you got that at the same time as you got your cat Bonnie. But what about the bullet part?
So I was really trying to think of something that is original. I'm like when it came to my name because I feel like there is a lot of um I wouldn't say copying, but there's a lot of people out there who have like numbers and such in their names, which I have no problem with. Like you can name yourself whatever you want. But I just didn't want to have a name that I had to like follow it by like 027 or like 356 or whatever. I wanted a name that was original, nobody had used before, nobody's thought of before. I wanted something that hasn't been used in the history of like ever. And so thinking of it, I was thinking Bonnie, everybody knows like the duo, Bonnie and Clyde and everything. And everybody knows about that, but what can I put with it that will match and what can I put with it that sounds good? And so I was running through all these different scenarios in my head. I was like, I could name myself Badass Bonnie, or I can name myself like I was trying to think of something that would match with it. And I knew that I wanted it to be another beat. I wanted it to be
Yeah,
something that was with a
cause
beat.
you want it to be but yeah, also very good alliteration as well. Cause it and I think that's certainly what the best names have, just that alliteration. And to the point where I wish I did call myself Chris Castaway on my main account. um, but yeah, like so, uh, yeah, like also Badass Bunny is also would be a really cool name. What were your other choices before Bullet came to mind?
So I was thinking of Badass Bonnie. I was thinking Bonnie Bomb, which that one I didn't do because I thought it was cute, but I thought they were too similar, like Bonnie Bomb. I thought that was like one, it sounded a little too close to mom. And and
Yeah,
then I was like Bonnie Bomb. I don't know, it just like didn't really ring to me. But as I was running through scenarios in my head, because crazy enough, all of this stuff was happening at the same time. I got my PS4, like I had just gotten my PS4, gotten Bonnie, and was creating like my name. I was basically creating my PS4 account, and I knew eventually that I would want to transfer that name over to streaming. But at the moment, what I was really concerned about was creating like my PS4 account, and I wanted a really cool name. And so as I was running through it, and the first game that I downloaded was actually Apex. And then I had previously bought Dead by Daylight. I already had that, but the first game I downloaded onto my PS4 was Apex. And so I was kind of running through what would match with that. And I was like, the first thing that kind of came to mind was Bullet. And I was like, Bonnie Bullet, and then I was like, no, Bullet Bonnie. And I don't know what it was, but the moment like I said that in my head, I was like, Bullet Bonnie, I was like, that's it. It was like it clicked. Like I was like, that's it right there. And it was such a crazy moment for me because I was like running through all these different names in my head. I was trying to think of something that would go with my birth name, which I don't or I was trying to think of something that would go with Bonnie because that was what I wanted my, I guess, alternate name to be. And I was just running through all these different things, and like the moment it came to me, and I thought Bullet, and I was like Bullet Bonnie. I was like, that's the one. Like that's my name. And so I created that name with the intention uh, for streaming, but also with the intention of just having a really cool name for my PS4. Um, but the biggest intention for me at the time was just to really create a cool name for my PS4. I wasn't like super into the idea of streaming. I just thought about it at that point. Because it was definitely a couple more months before I actually got into it. But I was like, oh, I guess I could stream now on my PS4. Maybe I'll try to find a name that matches with that idea.
Yeah.
But I was really just trying to find a cool name for my PlayStation, to be honest.
Oh yeah, that is like how it begins. Like I'm not going to even talk about what my first gamer tag was because it wasn't even a fucking gamer tag on Xbox. But yeah, I think you certainly struck gold with Bulletbonnie because it's fun, it's catchy, it's cool. Kind of but you know,
Thank you.
your streams be like, look what they need to mimic a fraction of our power, and my frames just dropped. Okay, we're good. Hey Thielman, hope you're doing well today. Hope you're doing very well indeed. But yeah, so Bulletbonnie TTV, as it says on some of your social medias, but Bulletbonnie for others. Either way, you got your PS4, you got Apex. You got you play DBD as well. But my question is, what was your first ever video game of your entire life?
Okay, that's hard. I gotta think back. Okay. Ooh, first video game ever. Okay, I think if I'm right about this, the first video game I ever played was on the original Nintendo DS. Um,
Oh, yeah,
when the DS
I
came
forgot that
out.
we're in the similar age range. Because yeah, so you're Gen Z as well, aren't you?
I'm sorry.
Oh, you're Gen Z as well, aren't you? So
Yeah.
yeah, we've probably got quite similar like consoles. Like apart from the fact that I got an Xbox and not a PlayStation, but yeah, the original DS, like the original DS, like I'm guessing it was the one where it's not the flat end when you fold it in. It's not the flat end one. It's the one that's bit like got a bit of a bump. I'll see. Actually, I can't see. Shit, I can't show you. Um, but you know what I mean, like the one where it's like got a bit of a slope on the edges of the S. Um,
Yes.
yeah. Uh, okay. So what was this game? I'm intrigued now.
But yeah, my original DS, if I'm thinking about it right, was the light pink one. So I think you could
Oh
get like
yeah,
white,
I
black,
think
or
my
pink
sister got the
or
same
something
one.
like that.
Yeah.
Um, and I remember playing it in my cafeteria. Oh my gosh, this is bringing back so many memories. Um, I just remember me being in lunch line at school, playing it in lunch line while I was waiting for my lunch. But um,
Lucky.
the first game I ever played on that one, I believe, was Pokemon. Not Black. I don't think Black had came out then. Pokemon Diamond. Or
Oh
no,
yeah.
no, Soul Silver. Soul Silver.
Ah,
That's what it was. I played Diamond after Soul Silver. Pokemon Soul Silver. I played that one. That was my first ever video game. And oh my gosh, that's what basically started like my whole Pokemon
you were
fanatic
hooked.
stage. Like ever since
uh,
that game, I was obsessed with Pokemon. Like absolutely, I love and adore it.
yeah. Like as someone who never played a Pokemon game before, apart from like one time, like I like my most like I'm sorry, Bonnie.
No.
Listen, if I grew up with a Pokemon game, I'd probably be playing them all. I'll be honest. But I played like the one that came out for free on the Switch when I got my Switch. And I just when it came to that Pokemon game, I wasn't really much of a fan of just the style, but I can see. But when I look at the older like Pokemon games, I look at them like I wish I had this in my childhood. It just looked really cool. Um, Even though like when it comes to Pokemon, like how many are there now? There's got to be like thousands now.
Oh goodness, I can't even remember. I know that they originally started with the Game Boy, and then they came out with the Game Boy Color, and um, I don't really like the new games now. I feel like they're too repetitive. I feel like they're just trying to copy the same thing that's worked for them all these years. They're just trying to put out new games with new Pokemon, and at this point, I personally don't like the new games. But there's a good amount now. I would say there's at least 20. Um, but yeah, I personally like the older style of the games. I liked going through them and being able to find all of the legendaries, being able to run through the story. And I personally just really, really like the art style. I have a Game Boy now, and currently I'm playing Pokemon Diamond on that. That's why I was like Pokemon Diamond. But I'm currently playing that on the Game Boy, and I absolutely love just the older generations of Pokemon, and that's what brought me in. That's what it was, one of my childhood games. It was one of my what is it called? Like obsessions, basically. One of my
Yeah.
childhood obsessions was Pokemon. I loved it, and it was just like one of the best things for me. I just loved the games. I loved the cards. I loved everything about it. The show, and it's like
Oh
one of the
yeah, the
core
show.
memories of my childhood.
Yeah, I actually vaguely remember the show. At least the one like the I guess it's the American version, the one that speaks, the one that's in English.
Yeah.
The ones that would be on TV. Yeah, like I vaguely remember those ones. Um, and once again, it was like one of the things where I preferred Yu-Gi-Oh actually between the two. Just because I just love the idea of like trading cards being actually weaponized to murder, essentially. Like that sounds like a cooler concept than replacing animals with Pokemon because I like cats too much to replace them with anything, even if it is a anime cat. um, like I just when it came to the concept, like both of them were pretty cool, I will say. But while I was more of a Yu-Gi-Oh person, and even though I say I was more of a Yu-Gi-Oh person, I did fuck all with Yu-Gi-Oh. Like all I did was watch the show and just look in awe of what I would see in front of me. Um, but yeah, like I said, like when you said Pokemon Diamond, it did take me back to a time in my life where I just see Pokemon Diamond and Pearl just be advertised all over like the kids' channels, like and it really just like send like a when you think about the older like your first video games and like the old consoles, it will always like send you back in time to a point where you didn't realize how much fun you were having until today, where you look back and see how much fun it was. um and weirdly enough, I had one like a few days ago, where like I completed Dark Souls on stream. I first tried one of the hardest bosses, the Four Kings, and it wasn't until today where I actually thought, Jesus, I had a lot of fun playing against the Four Kings. Like it didn't set in how much fun I had playing it, and then today I was like, holy shit, I actually loved that fight. And it's strange how like when you're in the moment, how oblivious you are, like almost to like what you're experiencing. But you like what would you say is your most recent example of that?
Ooh, of, like, basically nostalgia and, like, just think like, being nostalgic and thinking back to your childhood.
Yeah,
Um,
pretty much, yeah.
oh, that's hard. I would probably honestly say, uh, it totally completely random, but, I have, my Xbox 360, my original one from years and years ago, and it still has my Black Ops 2 in it. And this is I was more of a teen, or I guess more of a preteen whenever this game was a huge thing,
2012
zombies
was, yeah.
specifically,
Oh,
um,
right there.
for Black Ops 2.
There we go.
But I was playing it. I was playing it, and as I was playing it, it was like I just had like a rush of memories of just me playing it with my friends, with my like with my family, and I just remember specifically this one time I had a memory of me and my little sister playing it, and just it just brings you back to all of those times. And
Yeah,
I do agree with you. Whenever you said that in the moment we don't really realize like what we're experiencing, and until we're older and we look back on it, it's we don't think of that in exact moment. We don't think of the moment. I guess it's a
yeah.
happy moment, but we don't think back on it like fondly. We're
We
not
don't think
thinking
back
that,
on
oh
it
my
as
god, this
with as
memory.
important as it ends up becoming.
Right, yes, exactly. And then you look back at it whenever you're older and you're like, "Oh my gosh, like I just wish I could go back to that
Yeah,
time. That was such an amazing just an amazing time in my life." And it's insane that in that moment we don't think that it's going to be such an important deal to us in the future. But
yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
I get those nostalgic feelings all the time. Like I can just look at something and it'll bring me back to something in my childhood.
yeah. And the thing is, like, I feel like you and I were certainly lucky when it came to the time where we grew up when it came to games, because this might be a hot take, but I think the 2010s like were the peak of video game releases. Like we had the golden age of COD, uh, for like well the last 3 years of the golden age of COD, I'd say. We had the Dark Souls trilogy that year, GTA 5, Red Dead 1 and 2. Like we were very lucky to have grown up in the 2010s, I would say. And even then, like late 2000s as well, you had stuff like Left 4 Dead 2 here. And like I can't like imagine like my childhood shaping up to be anything else than how it ended up being, because yeah, like Black Ops 2 in my opinion is the best COD of all time and is actually my second favorite game of all time next to Red Dead 2. And it's just like part it's part nostalgia, but also the fact that you look back at these games like Black Ops 2, then you look at COD now and it's just like what happened?
What is that?
Yeah. Yeah. Like like you look back and you see World at War start out zombies and it become a 10-year phenomenon, and then you go to Monday Card, and they were so like they threw away zombies for another cash cow in Warzone, and I'm just like, no, come back, no. Uh, but at the same time, yeah, it's like I said, we don't like think of the moments when you're in them as moments to be held preciously. You know, you think it's going to be sticks and stones forever, and then you just wake up one day looking back and thinking, "Holy shit, that was a good time." And I think that one thing that is good about Monday games is that with the Xbox One, it's backwards compatible, so I can play this as much as I would like now. And with stuff like cross-platform, for modern day games, it's a lot. It's breaking down the barriers almost of you know, console wars. It's stopping console wars from happening because the fact that I can play a game of Fall Guys on my Switch and play with someone who's playing on their PC. And I think that also like helps the community in that sense, and especially when you're a streamer. Once again, um,
Definitely,
when
yeah.
when you have your games, and it's just a case of can I join? You can just say yes, join. Why not? Um, so yeah, how many cross-platform games have you got like, or have you streamed, I should say? Uh,
Um, Cross-platform, I would say I've only streamed a couple. Dead by Daylight, Apex, trying to think of other ones. Genshin, is cross-platform. Um, I think that's really it. Sea of Thieves, is Sea of Thieves cross-platform now?
oh, good question.
I don't know that one, because
Uh,
I did try to stream that at one point, but, overall, I do agree with you. Cross-platform has, definitely increased the community gameplay, and it has allowed people who don't have the opportunity to get PCs or to get consoles that are super expensive or, upgrade their console to the newest console each time they come out. It has allowed people who, still have, kind of older generations a little bit, to play with people who have those new consoles or who do have PCs. So I think in that sense, gameplay has come forward and improved quite a bit in that regard.
oh yeah, definitely. What was I gonna say? I was thinking something. Yeah, like when it came to like breaking down the barriers of it's just really weird that um you look at certain games and you think, why is this not cross-platform yet? Because it would be great if it was cross-platform, especially when it's the online games that are that way. Like, and it's as you said, not every gamer in the world can afford to, get to the PS5 and Series X. They have to stick to the generation beforehand. Not everyone can afford uh, to spend full price on a goddamn game. Like, I keep ranting about it, but The Last of Us Part One should not be $70. It should not be 70. That's for the standard.
Yeah, standard edition too, being $70. All the new games now are like $70 when they come
Yeah.
out.
It's not even new. That is the problem. It's not even new. It's a reskin or a retexture of a 9-year-old game which already had a remaster the year after it released. So and it's just weird like how like I feel dirty whenever I see these game developers. You right there? Bonnie's dying, guys.
I'm so sorry.
Nah,
Wrong type.
don't worry.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, like it makes me feel dirty whenever you get to like a video game. You look at these developers and they say $70, please, and I'm just flipping them off. Like
Like, why
70,
is this $70?
yeah, like. And then, like, I saw this recent thing from Phil Spencer of Xbox, saying that they may have to like increase prices more, and I'm just like, no, no, you don't, please don't, because all you're doing is making people just not want to play your games. Hey, Chloe, hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. But yeah, like, it is a huge pain. Like, it's like I said, like I talked about how Red Dead 2 is my favorite game of all time. Full priced, that was £50. And that is a massive game. So for me to spend £50 on that or to get that, it feels fulfilling because it feels worth the money. I've got so much content offline, let alone online, that £50 is a reasonable price. And then like when
Yeah.
I like 2 years after Black Ops 2 came out, I think I saw it at my local supermarket, charged for just 10 quid, and I think to myself, yeah, I mean that should be worth more, but why not? Why not £10? And then you get to today's games, and it's like yearly releases, remakes slash remasters, or like every single game is going for the exact same art style to the point where it just becomes homogenous, and they say 50 quid, 60 quid, 70 quid for this, please, and I'm just like, I have no reason to pay that much money. your game has given me no reason for you. It's giving you no audacity to earn that right. It's really like it gets really annoying because I get it that games become more expensive to develop over time because they're getting, more and more. They need to get a high budget for voice acting, stuff like that. Inflation is a thing, cost of living crisis happens. I know that real world can affect the price that things cost, but at the same time, it does nothing for the generation of gamers who want to play these games. It does nothing for like their finances. It does nothing for their enjoyment when like they have to look at a game, and it disgustingly justifies. Like I feel disgusting saying this. It justifies people who look at a game, play it, and then return it because on the one hand, yeah, that's a shitty thing to do. But at the same time, I would rather someone do that than spend money on a game that they don't even like. Uh,
Right.
and especially like video games, everyone can agree is the most expensive hobby a person can ever have. Not just the games, but also the consoles, the TVs. If you need to get a new one, I need to get a new TV. Shit. And uh, the online, the internet. All those funds go into playing games at the end of the day. And so to add more prices to games or to your consoles, like an expensive console, I kind of get because, it's a very powerful machine that plays games. What I don't get is when the games themselves are expensive or when the membership itself is expensive. Like £50 a year for standard Xbox Live or standard PlayStation membership. I don't think it's justified because what do you get out of it? The ability to play online? Nintendo's done that and it's £20. It's legit less than half the price. Or like you play on PC and it's free to play online. And then you get to like you get to when it comes to finances, you get to the point where you just have to think and like especially when your job is to review video games, it's not just a case of is this game good? It's also is this game worth the money it's pricing itself as? Um, and I think when it comes to subs or like when it comes to us as streamers, one of the reasons why we streamers do subathons is because like it's in a sense trying to give viewers and community members their money's worth. And so yeah, like you can certainly agree with this when it comes to whenever someone subs or cheers bits. It's a really grateful thing because it's not just they are subbing to your channel. It's that they are choosing to sub to your channel, and it's like or like they choose to gift subs because like they can pay for Twitch Turbo, and that will not affect streamers at all. But they choose to sub to your channel, and I don't know if you agree. Would you say that when a person subs to your channel, do you think like they deserve more than just emotes? Do you think they should have like something extra to go with it?
Um, well, I could talk about Twitch and their policies all day because some of their policies are a little ridiculous,
Yeah.
and the things I see sometimes are, especially on Twitter. Oh my goodness, is
Oh
just
god,
really.
Twitter
Uh,
is the worst.
but I feel like uh I feel like followers, they are not just subbing to you for your emotes. I feel like whenever they take the time to sub to you and give you their hard-earned money, they are subbing to you because they like you, they like your content, they like you as a streamer, and they want to support you. And I feel like we should be able to recognize those followers in a special way. I feel like um, maybe if there was some kind of extra icon that they received, or if they received some kind of extra monthly benefit to go along with it, that would be nice. But I do feel like the original intention for subs is to be supportive of the streamer that you like, because their content, if you don't sub, is free. You can watch, I can watch you, or you can watch me as much as you want. You can watch all of my clips, you can watch all of my past VODs, you can see all of this for free. You're not paying me to see me. Um, and I feel like that's one of the biggest things, is that people who sub, they're subbing out of their own um, support and I guess liking of you, and they want to support your channel and they want to support you as a person, and they just want to show that. And so I feel like with that in mind, or at least that's how I go about subbing to other people. Um, with that in mind, I feel like emotes are a good way to provide some kind of a gift to them, because you have to, unless you get free emotes or make the emotes yourself, which not a lot of people are able to do. You still have to pay to get emotes, and you still have to pay to get them made if you want them handmade, or you have to pay from a site or something that's already pre-made them. So you're putting your own money into it, as you do as being a streamer, but you're putting your own money into it to give these options of different emotes to your followers who want to support you.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's kind of a give and give situation, really.
Yeah.
But
I would like. I certainly agree there. Whenever I see it, like, and it's a thing that a friend of mine also like agreed with, where it was like, when you see how much they are charging, yeah, like they don't have to do it at all. It's their choice. But it's like it feels like sometimes like they deserve a bit more of a reward in that sense for being kind. Like I know like for a fact that people don't do it for the emotes at all, or they don't even do it for not watching ads. They do it because they just want to support the person. And I just think to myself, I want to express my gratitude a lot more than my voice physically can, because like I'm pretty sure like you're probably in a similar situation where um because you're streaming and you do it after a while, like it gets to a point where your voice, like you're still very thankful, but your voice kind of like it's like some voices don't really have the same energy as others. So like I would say like if you were to get a sub, you would probably sound a bit more appreciative as if I got a sub. Um just due to the tone of voice, because you're a very energetic streamer and I'm a bit more of a well, I'll say energetic personally. Compared to me, you're energetic. But yeah, like when it comes to when I stream, it's always laid back, and it's very hard for me to like convey emotions like when it comes to when someone does something nice to me. And so as a result, it does and I know other streamers that have been in this situation where they feel like they can't like they want to they feel like when they say thank you, it's not enough to just say thank you, because of maybe the way they say it just may not seem that energetic, or it's just because of like the prices for subs as well. Like I know that the prices for subbing for people have gone down in certain areas, like over the past year anyway. But at the same time, like uh, when it comes to that stuff, uh, it's it's like as you said, it's like streamers do have to pay for most other things, like if they want custom overlay, like custom artwork, and this might just be from the people who've reached out to me. I mean, we'll get to that side topic in a moment. But like whenever like I see people charge art and graphic art, it's at a price where I know that I can't afford to pay for graphic art. And so like as a result, I do make my own stuff just out of pure lack of budget. But at the same time, like I know that there are a lot of people who do like pay for those things. And actually, that's a question to you. Do you make your own art, or do you have someone commission for them?
I have a emo artist. She's absolutely fantastic. She's great, and her pricing is very, I feel, very affordable compared to some other people that I have dealt with. Um, but I've really been wanting to try and make my own art because I do draw a little bit in my own free time, but I am just not an expert or anything like that. So I did take my own money and I did take it and decided to invest in getting myself some custom made emotes. Because you'll see that my emotes are both of my kitties,
Yeah.
um, or almost all of them are of my kitties. But the Mudkip ones that I have are not. I got those for free, or a friend made them for me. So I haven't been able to make my own yet, make my own art, but eventually I want to be able to. But yeah, I did take my own money and invest in it, just because I wanted some custom made emotes. And luckily, I found an artist who was able to work within my price range, and she's absolutely lovely. And I'm very glad that I met her because there are a lot of people out there who claim themselves to be graphic artists, and they're not.
Yeah, because it's either like they like graphic artists. That's a tangent, or
Oh,
like that's the
Twitter graphic artist.
like not just Twitter, Discord as well. So
Oh,
yeah,
anything really. Any
yeah.
graphic artist.
Or like, oh, I had one yet coming yesterday on my stream, no less. Oh, like it,
Oh, wow.
they're everywhere. Oh, but like, yeah, like you look at certain graphic artists, and it's like there's nothing special about your art. No offense, but it looks the exact same as this other person's that I've seen, or it looks like worse than that, or there's nothing about it that stands out with either of them. And you're charging this much for them? No, 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 no. Like, I've seen people charge like fucking £50 for two small emotes. And
Oh,
like,
Jesus, no.
I'm just like, that is not within my price range at all. Like, I get it. Like, if you're trying to, you're trying to get commission, you're trying to work, but at the same time, so many of these GFX artists are they just don't care. Like they will do whatever it takes to get an offer on the table. They'll follow you on Twitter. They'll go into your fucking streams and say, "I'm a GFX artist. Here's my portfolio if you want it." I'm like, "No, I'm not interested. Sorry, bye." Or they go into your Twitter DMs and do the same thing. And they're like, "Do you stream by any chance?" And I was like, "Let me guess, you're a graphic artist." And they're like, "Yes." And I was like, "Okay, I'm not interested. Bye." And it's like, and it's the way they. It's not the fact that they do it. It's the way they do it that is just so.
Yes.
In my opinion, I'm going to use the word scummy because it is really, really harsh of me to say it, but also really, really harsh of the way that they do it because they go into people's discords. They don't interact in those discords at all, and most of the time, neither do I. And as a result, they find me in a Discord server in which I have never interacted in, or I've barely interacted in at all, or haven't in a while. And they say, "Hello, are you a streamer by any chance? I'm a graphic artist," and I'm just like, "You just legit snakes around people's Discord servers looking for streamers, just so you can make a quick buck." That's not how it works. Like, I get it if you're a GFX artist and you're actually coming into the streams and you're actually trying to be a part of the community. I very much appreciate that. But if you're not, but you're not for the most part. For the most part, you're just not one of those people. You're not one of those artists who do that. You're like everyone else who just comes in and makes a quick buck. How many times have you experienced that in your time as a streamer?
I thankfully, I think I've only had one instance of a graphic artist coming into my streams, but my Twitter DMs are filled with graphic artists who message me. I never reply back. It's not even worth my time. But my Twitter DMs are just filled of people with just graphic in their name, or the abbreviation for graphic. And it's just absolutely insane because to me, I'm like, what makes you think that you coming into my DMs and messaging me the same exact message that all the other graphic artists send me? Hey, how are you doing? Hey, can I talk to you for a second? Hey, I'm a graphic artist. Are you interested in seeing my work? Like they all send the same thing, and half of the time they're just bots. They're not even real people. They're
Yeah.
just people trying to scam people out of money, or they are stealing emotes from other artists who created those emotes, and they're stealing it, claiming it that it's their work. And there's just so many instances of people messaging me for that, and it just breaks my heart. It just absolutely breaks my heart because I'm like, instead of taking the time to work on your portfolio and, work on your following yourself, being a graphics artist. If you're an artist overall, not, whether that's a graphic emote artist or a pen and paper. Like, you are an artist overall, whatever you work on doesn't matter. But for me, I'm like, if you're gonna be a graphic artist, you gotta make following yourself. You can't just try and go into other people's. That would be like me trying to go into other people's stream and being like, hey, I'm a streamer too. Come check me out. Like,
Yeah.
here's my streamer
I just
portfolio.
noticed that.
Like, that would
It's
be
like if you
like,
did it on the first stream without saying anything else as well.
yes. And
Oh,
it's just so dehumanizing, I feel like. It's just like you think that you don't even look at me as a human, you look at me as a wallet.
yeah.
And it's just it's so frustrating because, like, of course I would love to meet new artists because there are tons of fabulous artists out there really is, but you can't meet anybody legitimately, especially through Twitter, because there are so many people out there who don't see you as a human. They just see you as a way to get money, and it's really
Yeah.
horrible, I feel like.
It is really like just, it's absolutely terrible that, it's like you said, it's like going into a fucking stream saying, hey, I stream too, come check me out, I'm about to go live. And it's like, great, fuck off. uh,
You're right.
like, luckily, I think I have it so that people who follow me can't just outright DM me, I have to DM first. I don't know if that's the case because it's just that I've not received any GFX DMs in my Twitter. It's usually just Discord that happens. Um, but yeah, it's a massive thing when you say when it becomes memes in the streamer Twitter where you look at a post and it says follow excited face. It's a GFX artist. Frown. Like it's legit. Like it's become a joke, which is like I said, it's a shame because there are so many like artists out there who are trying to put themselves out there and trying to do a genuine, honest day's work, and they are constantly getting like drowned in the sea of bots and cheap GFX artists who, and when I say cheap, I don't mean price, I mean in quality. Um,
Yes.
like not just quality as an artist, but quality as a person as well. Because Jesus Christ, there are so many of them, and it's funny because, like I said, the person who came
It's
in yesterday,
endless.
yeah, the person who came in yesterday, I was like, "Hello, thank you for the follow," and then they immediately said, I was just having a look at your panels. I want to see if you, if you want to talk about some ideas." And I was like, "I'm not interested, mate. Thanks." And then they still message afterwards. What's your Discord? I can show you my portfolio. And it's like I am not interested. I said it before. Read the fucking room. Uh, I
It's
mean,
like they didn't even read what you said. Like,
yeah. And I mean, I was convinced that that one was a bot because of the fact
yeah.
that, yeah, I said no, they didn't take no for an answer. And a lot of GFX artists, I'll give them credit. When they are human, they know when no is a good answer. So yeah. That being said, yeah, like it's like that was a good tangent. That was a good rant for both of us, I think, because like it's like a thing where when it comes to streamers, like there's no like sort of like mutual benefit to checking out another streamer. Like it's a case of I watch your stream and I'll support it because I want to, and if you want to do the same for me, that's completely fine. It's not a follow for follow because I mean for the most part it's not follow for follow. For the most part, it's not view for view. If you are an actual streamer and you have you want to make a genuine community, you go out there yourself. Like even if you're just lurking in a stream, you're doing more for someone than just having them come in and expecting you to go into their streams. Like, and it just makes me mad that JFX artists just don't have that mentality. Like the streamers, like especially the great streamers, they give without intending to, uh, get anything in return. And when it comes to GFX artists, they expect to get in return, without giving in a sense, like because what you're getting when you're paying is usually not the amount that's the price that I think is really worth. And so as a result, you just get into this bit where it's just like it just gets annoying after a while to just put up with the same madness. Because like I've never once been in like I don't know if you've had it yourself with other streamers, but I've never once myself gone into a stream or had someone come into my stream to instantly self promo or to I think I might have done once, but that was a long time ago. But like they don't come in and expecting people who are in that stream to watch their streams as well. Like, because if that was the case, why are we all streaming? you know, it's 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 a pain. But yeah, have you had any like moments with streamers where like it's almost like talking to a graphic artist, almost in that sense?
Um, mm, I thankfully don't think I've had anybody come into my streams with like full intention, like they come in and they're like, "Hey, I'm a streamer, come check me out," I don't think I've had anybody bold enough to come into my streams and do that, because that would automatically equal block and ban. But um I have had somebody come in, and if I ask you about it, I have no problems. But I have had somebody come in and they were like, "Hey, how are you doing? Oh, glad you're doing good." And then I would ask them how they're doing, and they'd be like, "I'm great. Like, I just finished a stream, blah 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 blah." And it's like, if I ask you about that, it's that's fine. Like, if I ask you about your streaming, that's totally fine. Like, you tell me you're a streamer, I'm like, "Hey, that's great. I love that." And then I ask you about it, like, "What were you streaming? How was your stream? How did your game go?" If I ask you questions that, insinuate, tell me about your streaming or tell me about your stream or whatnot, I'm totally fine with that. But they came in, they were like, "Oh, I just finished streaming. It was such a great stream. I had like 5 people sub to me."
Oh
And
yeah,
I was like, "That's great. That's awesome." And then I kind of just continued on with my gaming and continued on talking to the rest of my community. And they would kind of just jab in every now and then continuously talking about the stream. And it's like, I understand that you're excited and you kind of want to share that news, but it just seems like you're kind of digging for people to come check you out.
yeah,
And
like yeah,
it's like you're trying to like put it under the rug without fully trying to admit that you're trying to get people to come check you out.
yeah,
And little things like that are very like just kind of annoying because
yeah,
I don't do that. I don't go to other people's streams with that intention. And most of the time, I don't ever even mention like that. If I got off stream and I immediately started watching somebody else, I don't go into their stream with the intention of being like, "Hey, yeah, I just got off stream. I had like such a good day. I had such a good stream. Now I'm watching you." Like, I don't ever mention that I'm a streamer unless they ask me about it. Um,
yeah,
so like I don't ever go into another person's stream with like that kind of intention. And
yeah.
I just
Like
think it's a little shady when people do.
it is like it's like I said. I get it when people are excited to, when something exciting's happening. Well, that's good and everything. But yeah, it's like when they say I've streamed this, I got this amount of views or I got this amount of followers in my stream, and I'm just like, it's when they get like when they focus on the streaming part of what they were doing. Like one thing that I tend to whenever I talk about a conversation or talk about something, like yeah, it happens on stream, but I don't say that I streamed it. I say that I played it. It's like I think one of the recent ones is that a friend asked me how I was doing. I said I'm doing good, thanks. I just finished Dark Souls 1. And that I felt good with the game, and then I just moved on. But yeah, and even then, like sometimes there's a case like where someone asks me how was the Dark Souls, and I say I beat it. Because beating Dark Souls was probably my favorite moment in probably this year one of my favorite moment this year is beating Dark Souls 1. But like,
Congratulations.
thank you. It was fun. Um, but yeah, like when it came to like talking about the streamer stuff, like I'm just like, at the end of the day, there are a lot of people in the world who are streamers. You know, I get you have to put yourself out there, but on in another person's chat is not the way to go about it. If you want like their community to come into your chat, like uh, this is gonna sound shady considering I do the Want to Stream podcast, but you know, talk to them about it. Ask them to be a part of your stream or to collaborate together. Uh, you know,
Yes.
yeah,
Build a relationship with the streamer first
precisely,
before trying to take their viewers, which is basically what they're doing.
yeah. So this is going to come out at a cost of 12 viewers, Bonnie. I hope you're able to afford those 12 viewers. We'll talk
Oh
about
God.
no, but seriously, like it's like I said, it's building a relationship with the streamers, and honestly, I think building a relationship with the streamers is a lot more valuable than trying to take away their viewers. Because at the end of the day, those viewers are community. That community is going to be loyal to that streamer. They're not just going to fuck off randomly just because you're there. And yeah, it's honestly a lot more fun when you're talking to another streamer because not only do you have a similar, sometimes you have similarities about how you streamed, but also you have like differences to how streaming went for you. And you can just juggle that with games. Like it's just an extra thing to talk about. And I can honestly say, like, I certainly have a lot more streamer friends nowadays than I do real life friends, and that's just because like I have like three friends outside nowadays, maybe four, and it's because the rest of them just went away, and the ones who are still here know that I stream, so they know that I don't really go outside as much as I used to. Um, but then like I go to I got like so many like moments where I go into a person's stream, and it's usually someone that I've become friends with because I reach out to them in DMs when they're having a hard day, which is actually kind of it's become a gimmick for me that I've done that. But hey ho. Sometimes it's the case of I invite them to come on the podcast because I think they are a really nice time. Speaking of a really nice time, there's a really nice person who just said hello, Chloe, how are you doing?
Oh.
Um, and yeah, while we're on the conversation, yeah, the one of the beautiful things about streaming is when the streamer chooses to say, "Hey, you should come over and watch this person. You should, you know what, Chloe? If you're going to stick around with the raids, then we're going to go raid Bonnie. Let's go say hello to Bonnie." And then like you just see like these two wonderful people, like one person from your community and the streamer just getting along so well, and it's like it makes my heart warm whenever I see community getting along. Like it doesn't matter if it's with the streamer or with each other, because you know, um, one of and now I love Bonnie. Who doesn't? Who
The
doesn't? Like,
That was one of my most favorite streams ever.
yeah, like Chloe is like Chloe will probably forgive me for saying this, probably, but she is a really lovely, energetic person. And no matter who I've raided after stream, she always like talks to the person, and you just like you see how much of a lovely person Chloe is, and it's like it. And I know that Chloe is also a streamer, so that probably explains it. But like, because when it comes to streamers, I think we understand what it's like to not only be streamers but also to have like people come in and actually be a part of the community and take the time out of the way to be a part of that community. Like the reason why uh Chloe. But the the reason I think why I managed to find you, it was either because of Dad Plaid, or it was because of Brit. I think it was Brit, and Dad Plaid was also through Brit as well. But he was also a part of your streams at the same time. So when I met you, it was via a raid. And it's just I don't know how often you raid out. Brit of course, yeah. Um, but like I always make sure after every stream that I raid out because you never know who you're going to meet. So, like if Brits didn't raid out, that one day we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be here right now talking on a podcast. Uh, um, and it just, it shows that the discoverability on Twitch, it's not about who's on the front page. It sometimes is, but it's not about that. It's not about, you know, who's on your recommended. Or who's like playing a certain game. It's about who you're raiding to, really. Um, and yeah, like I certainly say one of my favorite raids was certainly the one where I raided you and Chloe was there, and I was just like, just seeing these two people get along, and everyone loves Bonnie. That is now the sitcom. Everyone loves Bonnie. Um, yeah. Uh, what was I gonna say? I was gonna say something about. Oh yeah, your streams. So, um, what is your favorite raid? What's the favorite? What is your number one favorite raid? Either the one that you've either raided out to or you received the raid from.
Oh goodness. Oh, that's so hard. Um, hmm. If we're not talking about the one where I met Chloe, because still to this day, that was such a fun stream. I had such a great time before you raided, and then I had such an amazing time after you raided. Overall, an amazing stream. But if we're not talking about specifically that one, I would probably say the I would probably say the time I raided um my good friend prop that's so hard. I'm stuck between two. I would
Talk about
probably
them
say the
both.
good So there was one time I rated my good friend Dosai Damien and absolutely amazing human being. I had such a great time rating him because I had a bunch of my community with me at the time and we were all able to raid in. And a lot of people stuck with him, like stuck in his stream and didn't just kind of like leave after the raid. Like they stuck in his stream. I was in his stream for probably another 20, 30 minutes. And the whole entire time, just people from my community were being super sweet, were very, very loving. A lot of them followed him, and it was just super sweet. And he even took the time to show us some like stuff that he had in his background and everything. And it was just so sweet, like seeing my community just kind of give all their love to this wonderful streamer that I had met through another raid. Um, and just amazing individual, amazing streamer, and just made me fall in love with my community even more because everybody there was just super, super sweet.
Yeah, like the best part is certainly when your community like joins in on like on another community and they just see how well they get along. Like even if it's just one person or it could be a group of people, you're just seeing them all like get along in this person's chat and the streamer themselves is also pleasant. It's just like even if you have to like raid and run, just seeing that is like it does a lot of good for you, I'd say. So that was I'm pretty sure that was one of them, right? That was one of your streamers. Uh,
Y-
and
yes.
who
And then
was the
probably
other?
the other time was probably Dad Plaid.
Oh yeah.
Uh, because Dad, he hasn't streamed in a while, but Dad Plaid, whenever he was streaming, is genuinely just one of the most sweet. Like he's probably one of the sweetest people I've ever met through Twitch, and is genuinely just such. He has
Uh
a really nice person. Like he's very considerate of everybody. And it's just so sweet. Like I literally call him my dad. Like we've signed the adoption papers. He's my father now.
oh. Oh yeah. I
um,
remember that. Like I think it was on I don't know if it was on Twitter or Twitch itself, but like you two were going back and forth with like the adoption thing that Dad Plaid's now your adopted father, and I was just like, woo. Like
he is.
yeah,
He's my dad now.
yeah.
He's just great.
I do love a good running joke in streams as well. Like running jokes are my lifeblood basically nowadays. Um, like it doesn't matter if it's something so stupid to the point where, I mean, I talked about how like certain rules that like quit talking about lemonade, and there's a reason why lemonade is a running joke for me. And it's literally nothing to do with my streams, but just the fact that I'm British and I hang out in a certain American stream. And we just talk about how lemonade is fizzy, and it just gets to a point where it becomes an actual joke. And yesterday, actually, that lemonade thing, I got vindicated because another British person came into chat, and we talked about how lemonade is fizzy, and how biscuits and gravy. Biscuits are cookie. Well, biscuits are UK biscuits are just brilliant. Talked about just British culture, and it's just like it feels vindicated after spending so long in this community, being one of those people who, one of the few people in existence in that community. Um, that was a very intense way of putting it. The only person in existence in that community, to actually, have, you know, a bit of, British culture about it. And then,
I love that.
I was like, I'm sorry, but this person's my new bestie. I don't know how to put it to you, but I found my new bestie here. Sorry.
We
uh,
love that though.
yeah, it was fun, and I had a really lovely time with it. Especially considering I was just feeling extra chaotic yesterday as well, so that was good for me. Um, what would you say is your number one running joke on your streams?
Um, either the Dom Bond thing where I'm Dommy Mommy or
Ah,
or
a classic.
or how all the money from my subs and biddies goes towards fries because I love fries.
Who doesn't?
Um,
Cheesy fries, especially. I don't know if you're lactose intolerant.
Would you care for some tea?
cheesy fries with the bacon bits on top.
Oh, okay.
Man, now
You're
I want fries.
you're after my heart right now. I just got jump scared
Or like
by
chili cheese fries.
yeah. Uh, I just got jump scared by Relly there. How you doing, Relly? Hope you're having a lovely day. Um, Also, Relly is a former guest on the podcast. I would absolutely recommend that stream. Oh, that podcast was fun. Sorry. Don't mind me just having a
But
sip of cream soda.
the don't spill it again.
Don't worry.
But the Dommy Mommy thing came from one of my streams. It actually came from my first cam stream, which I'm not too surprised. But my first cam stream, I had made a joke, uh, ab- I made a joke about putting somebody in the closet for timeout or something like that. And they called me Dom Bon after that, and it was just like after that it was just straight like I am now a Dom Bon. I am Dommy Mommy. Like
Yeah.
that's just me now. Like
Oh,
it's a part of who I am.
yeah. What?
And everybody just started calling me that.
It's just funny, like like how weirdly lewd things can become in a Twitch chat. Like I have been around streamers who are sort of like repulsed by sexual jokes and stuff like that, so I get a bit of a breather between the two. But I do have a lot of times, especially when it comes to your streams or Brit streams, where it just gets a bit lewd. I'm just like, fuck yeah, like I'm here for it. It's just fun. It's just fun to listen to, and chaotic. And actually, it certainly has a bit of a running joke, like because I'm not really the kind of person who makes sexual jokes on stream anyway. And so I
I
go
love that. On stream.
on stream anyway. I'm demisexual, but which is a part of the asexual spectrum. But I was raised with very lewd friends, so sexual jokes have become a part of my vocabulary now. But like it's become a bit of a running joke in my stream where like I do like kind of get a bit over complimentary sometimes, especially with Brit. Like she comes in, I'm just like I somehow get like this weird like smooth like thing, like this smooth compliment whenever I'm talking about something like. I could say like we're all mortal, we'll all die. Apart from Brit, she's a deity. Just ignore her, and like gets to something complimentary as that, and that becomes a bit of a running joke in a note of itself that I just can't stop complimenting Brit because I mean it's Brit. Of course I can't stop complimenting her. She's legit like there's a reason she's been on this podcast twice. She's just lovely to be around. But yeah, like. There's something, and also I don't know if you feel the same way, but when it comes to running jokes, it makes you feel good about yourself that you're able to be in on such a joke, even if it's at your expense sometimes. Uh,
Absolutely.
yeah. Uh, I don't know, is there a running joke? Oh, there is one running joke at my expense, but it's not in this channel. Fucking Valkyrie's channel. Nebby, I don't know if you're still here. But you motherfucker. So like one of the things that if you've never been on Twitch before, is that you can time people out. And it's become a running joke in my friend Valkyrie stream, thanks to Nebby, that I get timed out for no reason. Just randomly out of the blue. And then it got to the point where I outright said there is a bounty on your heads. The first 5 streamers to time you out and send me clip proof that they timed you out gets fucking 100 bits, you know. Obviously, when it came to that, that never happened because I just can't afford to, throw away bits like that. I'm poor, guys. I'm sorry. If I could put bounties on people like that, I would do it without question, just for the sake of chaos. But yeah, like it's weird that everyone's just found a way to just they know the mechanics of Twitch and they just want to use it to just fuck everything up a bit, just a bit more. Like without a doubt, like certainly my most entertaining moment in Valk streams are probably when I get timed out. I mean, I love Valk and everything. Like she's amazing, but. I'll get her one day. But yeah, going back to your streams though, when it comes to timing out people and banning them, how often, like, are there any times like where you do like just fuck with people a little bit, where they just say something and you're like, I'm going to just delete your message, just for no reason other than it's either just a funny roast or something like that.
Yeah, there have been times where I've personally timed somebody out because I'm just like, no, that's too inappropriate. How dare you say that? And I'll just be like fake sarcasm, and I'll time them out for like 5 seconds just to do it. I think one of the best things though is Mind Lord. He's a streamer, but he's also one of my followers, and also one of my mods. Whenever he comes in, his whole thing is rats. He loves rats and everything. So if anyone comes in with the intention, especially one of my other friends, Red, he likes to come in and fuck with Mind Lord, and he starts talking about how he hates rats, or how he's gonna take all the rats and he's gonna put them in a cage or something like that. Like he'll make a joke, and then it's so funny because then I'll just be like, Mind Lord, get him, and then, and Mind Lord will take the time and he'll go and like he'll either ban him if he said something like really rude, or and then he'll unban him, or he'll time him out for like the full 600 seconds.
Oh my god!
And he's like, get out of here.
Get
And
you
it's
to
like
here.
it's one of the best things ever.
Oh yeah. Oh,
And then I'll just be like spam rat emotes, and then everybody will just spam rat emotes for
Yeah.
Mind Lord. Like it's those are one of my favorite moments.
You might say you got ratted out.
I
I'm not even
That
sorry
was a
about
good
that.
one.
I'm not even sorry.
No, that
Oh,
was good.
okay. Oh, once again, like I am terrible when it comes to dad jokes and puns. Like, I made one
They're great though.
yesterday.
I love them.
Yeah, I made a joke yesterday. So a friend of mine once got a concussion because a spotlight dropped on their head. Um,
Oh no.
so like, but the weird thing about it is that they got hit. They didn't get knocked down when they got a concussion. They fell unconscious. They were still standing up apparently when it happened, which is odd. But I made a fucking awful dad joke yesterday because the six concussion, like, because she's had six concussions total in her life. But the most recent one was the spotlight one, and I just said, well, during the sixth concussion, the spotlight was on her, and like, I mean, it was a terrible pun. I will be honest, it was terrible, but it was also funny.
Oh my
It
gosh.
was funny, and I am not even sorry. I mean, I am sorry a little bit, but um,
A little bit.
like there's just something about a dad joke, but just provides that that feeling, like that reaction that you just want to get from people, where it's either they laugh to death or they facepalm so hard that oh, hey there, Kenshin or Hypno. Hope you're having a lovely day. Thank you for thank you for the look. Oh, tripping over your words as well. That's another thing that I'm pretty sure you can relate to. Like when it comes to streaming, like you
All the time.
get into a train of thoughts, and then suddenly you're speaking Shakespearean. Uh,
I open up my streams saying, guys, you already know that my streams, they never go the way I want them to. They're always chaotic. So we're along for the ride. Like I always say I don't even know what's going on.
yeah, I
Even though
mean,
it's my stream, I don't know what's going on. I'm just
yeah,
here.
we just provide, we just host the chaos. That's going to be your official title, Bulletbonnie, host of the chaos. Um, hope you're okay with that. um,
Absolutely.
oh, absolutely, yeah. Glad to hear it. Um, but yeah, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, when it comes to plans, for streaming just never goes to plan, does it? Like it never goes to plan. Like I have a schedule for tomorrow's stream because it's my 12-hour stream. 12 hour stream
Ooh.
tomorrow for 2 years, and I'm doing this today. I'm going to die by the end of the week. I hope you're okay with that, guys. But yeah, like, and I do have like a vague schedule put in place because I need to know when is a good idea to order food, which I will certainly be getting cheesy fries, but that's tomorrow's problem.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean you can't have a takeaway and not have cheesy fries. I'm just saying. Um, but yeah, like I don't think that schedule is going to get like I had a schedule for the entirety of October, and I'm pretty sure like day 5 I went against it because I just couldn't be bothered to follow a schedule. Um, and it just shows that when it comes to streaming, it's not about when things happen. It's all about how me yawn. Ugh, I'm on the verge of yawning there.
I was trying not to.
Yeah, don't worry. Like it. Oh, it's funny how like when you see someone yawn, it gives you the urge to yawn yourself sometimes. Even saying the word yawn, I want to yawn. I'm saying it so many times. I'm sorry if you yawn again.
I'll
um.
hold it back.
Okay.
No
Um.
yawning.
Gritting my teeth right now. Um. But yeah. What was I talking about? I forgot. Oh yeah, plans. Like when it comes to streams, nothing really ever goes according to plan per se. Like, but it's always like it's just an idea, and how that idea goes, it doesn't really matter. It's going to just end up in chaos anyway. So there's no point in like the reason why I say it's okay for you to read chats while we're doing a podcast is because it's all about enjoyment at the end of the day. This isn't like anything that has been funded by anyone. I just do it because I love it and I love giving good people recognition. That's been the motto. That's been my motto for so long now. Just to give good people the recognition they deserve. Which is also why I pick who is the guest. Really, I'm the one who invites people because when it comes to like content, and when it comes to working in general, the one thing you're going to remember, and also with entertainment, when you're watching entertainment, you're not going to remember the moments as much as you're going to remember the characters, or the person, or any like it's the people behind it that make the ideas work. Um, and I think that's why star power is really a big thing in the industry, especially the gaming industry, where for some reason Chris Pratt is Mario. Um, like they have the voice actor right there for Mario. He's still around. He's still breathing. He's still kicking. Why not just have
They go with
him?
Chris Pratt.
Yeah, go for Chris Pratt. Don't go for professional voice actors. Why would you want to do that? Um, but yeah, like it is certainly like, and I guess it's like a similar case with streaming where um people throw like I feel streaming is the voice acting of performance, I'd say, in that you just get overlooked by other forms like just like how I would say voice actors get overlooked by Hollywood actors. I would say
Oh, all the time.
streamers can get overlooked as a piece of entertainment over an actual like funded podcast or a actual like you know talk show like
Right.
and yeah, I feel like when it comes to that stuff, another reason why I wanted streaming to be like my main source of income is because if I can make this like make streaming be put into the eyes of people who will say this is a genuine form of entertainment, this is not inferior in any way. If I can do that, then I feel like I've done my job as a human being, to trying to make something out of what is essentially people who play video games talk to people, form a community, and make something that sounds ridiculous actually sound genuine. And I mean, at the end of the day, what is a TV show if not just an idea about something silly that ends up being taken seriously by professionals? Um, like that's what everything is, and that's my motivation for streaming. Um, what do you say that you have like a motivation of your own for streaming, or do you do it just because you love it and you just love the fun?
Probably a little bit of both. Honestly, I haven't quite figured out what I want to do for the rest of my life because I just haven't really thought about it that much. um, because I don't have like a set career path or something that I've always wanted to do since I was a kid. Um, I really just like my community and I really just like um, being able to game and have my community there to encourage me and to laugh with me and to cry with me when I lose. um, it's just something that I enjoy personally, and I do it in my own free time. I really don't make a schedule for streaming because I know that a lot of times I won't be able to stick to it, just because my life is a little chaotic right now and I have a lot of things going on. But eventually, I would like to be able to take my streaming to a full-time uh, career path if possible, or be able to involve it in something that could become a career path for me. So whether that's social media or something around social media or something um, involving streaming that isn't just necessarily streaming itself, I really would like to be able to incorporate it into my job field in the future if it's not streaming itself,
Oh yeah,
because that would
and
be really enjoyable.
oh yeah, like and that's especially an amazing reason to stream. If even if it goes tits up, as us British would say, even if it goes horribly wrong and you stop streaming, it's a nice thing to put on your CV. That I did live streaming. I know what it's like to be under the pressure of a live audience. I know how to like I've faced experiences in stressful situations and dealt with them accordingly. Like I think it's just like it's something that when you say live streaming, that people will be interested by having like they'll be like, why is that on the CV? And they'll ask you in the interview, and then you can answer these questions about what streaming has taught you, and that is just a good way to get into a profession that you would want because streaming, like everyone, like there are so many idiots out there who think streaming's not a job. That's because it's several. That's why. Like, it's 5 jobs at once. You have to be entertaining, like a presenter would in a show. You have to run the thing like the people in the backstage would, or the people in like behind the scenes. You just have to make sure everything works. You do the marketing. You have to manage the marketing. It's just
Yes.
yeah. Like there is so much like goes into a TV show, and it's like written like and like everything about a TV show like has so many things that combine together to make it work. But they have entire crews to do it. With streaming, it's at least one person, but at most like five. Um, and for people to underestimate streaming in that sense, it's just foolish. At the end of the day, absolutely foolish. Um,
I agree, yeah.
yeah. And yeah, like I guess it's because it masquerades as people playing video games. And for a lot of streamers, there is that case of they just playing games and they just so happen to stream it. They don't really talk much. They just play the game, and that's fine if that's what they want to do. But I think that's what makes streamers like you, especially Bonnie, set apart from them. Is that yeah, you play games, you have a good time, and but you also you're very reactionary to what's happening, whether it be in the game, or in your chat, or an alert going off. And I think like one question I should ask really is, um, as like you've progressed through the life of streaming for the over a year and a half that you've done it, 1 year 10 months, we'll say. Um, like if my math's correct, yeah, about 1 year, ten
Yeah?
months, 1 year, 9 months, something like that.
Yeah.
Um,
Close. Close enough.
yeah,
I don't know the exact date, but
yeah,
close enough, yeah.
close enough. But like the question I should really ask is when, as you went through the past almost 2 years, um, what do you say like the progress of becoming the reactionary person who reads chat? Would you say that came natural to you, or would you say that like you had like to slowly progress through it as streams went on, that you became more adept at it, I'd say is the correct word.
Um, I would say beginning of streaming, the hardest thing for me was not responding to chat. The hardest thing for me was being able to come up with topics to talk about in between games. Um, for me to keep myself, to keep myself energetic and to keep this conversation, especially first starting streaming, I didn't have followers. I didn't have a lot of people who would come into my chat almost every single stream. So I didn't know if anybody was going to come into my stream and actually chat with me. Because I could have people viewing, but they could just be lurkers. And so I had to keep myself basically entertained, or I had to keep myself, um, uh, keep the conversation going. I had to kind of force myself to learn how to mm, converse with myself and my surroundings within the game to create commentary. So if something was happening to me in game, I would talk about it. But dealing with chat, I instantly got that because my whole favorite thing about streaming is chatting. I love chat, like I love talking to my chatters. I love people coming into my stream and talking to me. That's like the one of my most favorite things about streaming is being able to talk to my followers and talk to people um who come into my streams. It's like one of my most favorite parts about it. So I personally don't think that I had an issue learning to deal with that because for me, I will stop my game instantaneously if it means that I respond to my chat because my community is more important to me than the game I'm playing. So for me, like anytime somebody came into my chat or anytime I got an alert, that brings my attention to it, and I'm like, that's what I need to focus on because they're the people who matter to me. Um, so I don't feel like I had an issue with that. It was more of just me learning how to converse with myself and kind of keep the conversation going whenever there wasn't as many people in my streams actively chatting.
Yeah, I certainly agree that like one of my biggest weakness is right is like I'm in the middle of a thought. I'm expressing those thoughts. Mid sentence, someone talks, and then I just instantly cut off what I just thought and just answer the message. Like I don't have those moments where I was having a tough time because when like people chat, like in these podcasts, it's one of my biggest obstacles, and this is a me problem, definitely not a chat problem. Don't worry, chat. I still love you. But one of the biggest problems is when I'm like in the middle of a conversation, or I'm in the middle of or like when the guest is in the middle of a thought, and then a message comes out of nowhere, and I just like I have to either continue my thoughts and ignore it until I'm done, or I have to try and respond while also listening to the guests. And when it comes to that, it's always a case of you know like when it comes to my normal streams, it's completely fine because it's just a game that I'm playing. Unless I'm fully focused, in which case once again Dark Souls, where I have to go to desktop view just so that I can finish defeating the boss that has been absolutely torturing me for like 2 streams in a row. Um, but actually, I think it was 3 streams. Bloody hell. But like apart from those, it's always a case of, you know, trying to not stop in your tracks when you're expressing a thought, because yeah, it's, as you said, like you're like coming up with these conversations and these topics, and so like to immediately drop a topic just to respond to chat is first of all completely understandable, but at the same time it's like you run the risk of like repeating yourself. But then again, sometimes that's what streaming is. It's repeating yourself, because I'm pretty sure I made the uh conversation about my name being Christian and people, mocking that name. I'm pretty sure I've said that like several times on the podcast alone. Um, so yeah, like I would say like I don't know if you agree with this, but like when it comes to finding the conversations, um, how are you with like whenever that stuff does happen, where you're in the middle of a thought and then someone pops up with chat? Would you continue the thought, or would you immediately respond like I do?
I guess it really just depends on what I'm talking about. But if I'm just saying something, like if I'm just making a comment about something that happened, I'll usually just finish what I'm saying, unless it's something that I know will turn into like a discussion. Because if I'm just making a statement, then I'll just finish what I was saying. Like if I'm just making a statement, like, um, yeah, sorry. For a second there, I had a brain fart. But if I'm just making a statement, then I'll just go ahead and finish it. But if I'm saying something that can turn into a discussion, or it's more voiced as a question, uh, then I'd probably just end up saying hi, or answering the question, or just giving acknowledgement to the viewer, and then starting up that discussion, and or starting up whatever that conversation was going to be. Because if it's just like
Yeah,
like a quick statement, you might as well just finish it, and then so
yeah,
that you don't brain fart and lose where you were in the conversation.
yeah, definitely. And yeah, what one thing that like we talked about like that as in like how on stream like our personality can just like sometimes shift on a dime because of like a thought process sometimes. But one thing that I really need to ask my guests more is, how much would you say like youth streaming has affected you in real life, like for real life scenarios?
Ooh. I think it's really helped me. Not that I wasn't considerate before, but I think it's really helped me be considerate of other people's situations and what's going on with them. Just being more, I found myself, maybe that's also just because I'm growing up a little bit, but I found myself to be a lot more considerate of other people's situations, knowing that you never really know what's going on behind the screen, and what's actually going on like within other people's lives. Because I know that I've had people be rude to me before, and I'm going through tough situations that they don't know about, and their hostility and their rudeness, can completely bring down your mood. So, inside of streaming and outside of streaming, I try to be a lot more considerate of how I am voicing myself to other people. So if I'm voicing my opinion, I won't be demanding and I won't make it seem like my opinion's the only right one. I'll be a lot more open to listening to other people, and just overall just trying to be a lot more considerate of other people's lives and how they're feeling, because you never know. You never know what's going on in someone's life. So,
Yeah.
and just being nice, like opening doors for people. I do that all the time. Okay, now I'm just bragging on myself, but like I'll just try to be a lot more considerate of other people and like their
Yeah.
situations. So I'll just kind of go, if I have the time, I'll go out of my way to say something nice to somebody. Um, uh, or like if I'm picking up food, I'll be really nice to the fast food employees. I'll be like, I hope you have a fabulous day. I'll compliment their shirt. I'll compliment their nails. I'll just be extra sweet to them because that one compliment can make their whole day. I've had it
Yeah.
happen to me, so
Yeah. Like it can certainly change the mood of someone without a doubt. And
absolutely.
you said about the whole holding doors open. I used to do that a lot of times, like in middle school and high school, when I was, a kid. And I got the nickname Doorman Chris because of it, because no one else would do it, because everyone else was a fucking asshole. No, but like I was the only person who would do it because apparently it was good manners, so I just did it. And then like when I started getting like late high school to the college part of my life, like it's like you said, like one compliment can change like a person's perception of the day, but also like it goes the other way around as well sometimes. So I just slowly just became a bit more just annoyed at everything, a bit more cold and a bit more harsh to people because I just received nothing but that for a decade at that point, from other students. So I just became a bit more cold, a bit more just mean. Not an absolute, not a complete asshole, but like certainly not the person who would hold doors open. I'll just become the person who was like who would make you know not self-deprecating jokes, which I'm probably a bit more. I use a lot more now, certainly, but more like just jokes aimed at my friends. Just because, once again, like they are friends, like it's just what happens. But like sometimes they'll become like too harsh jokes, and then like when it came to streaming, that really turned me back around a bit, where like I'd see just people being so nice to each other to the point where it's just like that's what I've always wanted, just to be a part of a community that is just nice. Like it's not just full of people telling you your hair's shit or something like that. Like it's weird like how people from the outside don't know how much change uh streaming can provide someone. Like, and in my sense, like just watching a few streams, I immediately wanted to be a streamer myself. Um, I don't know if you had the same motivation when you started streaming, when you saw a stream and then got started yourself, or like was it like so did you see a stream and then that inspired you?
I guess I don't want to be I don't want to sound too um I don't want to give myself too much credit here, but I wanted to
This is
be
your
some
podcast. You're allowed to give yourself credit.
I wanted to be somebody's light, like not like the love of their life light or whatever, but I wanted to be that important figure to people, and they look at my streams, they look at me, and they all their sadness, all of their stress, everything just kind of releases. I wanted to be that gateway for people to be able to just relax and let themselves have fun and, like concentrate on themselves. And so I wanted to be able to provide that to other people because streaming for me, it was amazing coming into somebody's stream. Especially after a couple of their streams, you actually, build a relationship with them and build some momentum with them. And, they, uh, immediately once you, I guess, kind of pass that just first time chat to a continuous chatter, that relationship that you build with that streamer just instantly becomes so much more meaningful. Every time you come into the chat, they're always, oh my gosh, it's so great to see you. Like, how are you doing? Like they see your name all the time. They see your name pop up, and it's like, they provide you that love, I guess, that a lot of people don't really receive. Like, you just kind of, you feel like you're special to somebody, you feel like
Yeah.
you're important. And um I just really wanted to be able to provide that kind of space, that loving and very safe space to people who may not feel like they have other people to talk to, or may just not feel like they have other places to go after they've had a long day. So I just wanted to be able to provide that, because that's what was provided to me whenever I first started watching streamers, and building that relationship with them. You get to know them as a person, and you just like, I feel like it's just an amazing experience as long as everything's positive,
Yeah,
for sure.
like definitely. Like one thing that I certainly love is when you are that viewer, that first time chatter, and then you do just slowly get that, build in friendship essentially between you and the streamer or you and someone else. And like you see the dynamic and you're like, this person is just amazing to talk to, and you just have a good time talking to them. And it just that yeah, that first moment is the foundation. That first time you chat is the foundation of what will happen between you and the person that you're talking to. And that's why people say first impressions are important to someone, because they can make or break. And that's why, like, I always trust my gut instinct, because when you talk to someone, or um like when you see someone talk for the first time, you will always get this gut reaction to them by the way they say stuff, or by the way they talk about things. And weirdly enough, it's how I've somehow managed to predict the future. Not always, but sometimes I've managed to predict the future with the way that someone talks. And one of the conversations, and this is not a streamer conversation, this is just talking to someone and knowing exactly what they like from the first impressions, is that is a loud bike. Jesus. But like I was with my friend in college, and at the time I was identifying as asexual, not demisexual specifically, just asexual. And one of the people there, not my friend, but like my friend's friend, essentially, said that they thought asexuality wasn't actually a thing. Which that just says a lot about the person, first of all. But also says a lot about the person that I know that are going to end up becoming to basically everyone. To the point where when my friend dated this person, I was like, "You're making a mistake. He's gonna treat you like shit." And that's exactly what happened, because for some reason I can tell the future. Um, and then it ended up like like the relationship eventually ended up breaking off. And all I can say is I could see it from day one, and I don't know how
Yeah.
I could see it from day one, because it's one of those things where it's like I look at something and I look at it and think, how was I the only person to notice it, or how was I the person to notice it, and how did no one else notice it? And then there's other days where it's just like, how did I notice this to begin with? Because normally I should not see this coming, and I guess I should really give myself more credit when it comes to that stuff, I guess. Um, but yeah, like it's like no matter what experience, what context is you're experiencing it in, you're still talking to a person, and those first impressions will still, shape what happens really, like or what you can see happening in the future. Like, I knew for a fact that, I know it wasn't our first conversation when I raided you, because I was talking to you uh, like probably a few months before I raided you with Chloe. But I knew like for a fact that when I raided you that day, I was like, I want this person on my podcast one day, um, because it's just like it's so interesting to see like these stories that people talk about, um, and like it's like you said, you don't know like whether or not like what you want to do at this point in your life, whether streaming is that direction. But I certainly think like that one life lesson is like it's done a lot in on streaming, especially when you're meeting someone for the first time, you get their first impressions, and you see if it's for you or like if this person is the kind of person that you want to get along with or not. Um, and would you say that you've had like an interaction on stream in particular with maybe another streamer? I would say another streamer, where like you get a first impression straight off the bat and end up being right a long time after.
Yeah, there was this one person um whenever I first started streaming, I was introduced to I'm not a part of their group anymore, but I was introduced into Team Status, which is a streamer group. Um and I was introduced there was like a bunch of different streamers and we would all collab together, we would all chat together. I'm not a part of the group anymore due to some circumstances that I won't talk about on here. But I was introduced to somebody, or everybody was introduced. This was a newcomer to Team Status at the time. And instantly, the first conversation that I had with them on stream and off of stream in my DMs was very, very weird. It was very, very uncomfortable. Um, and it just made me very, very uncomfortable the way they introduced themselves, the way they chatted with my chat, the way it was just all very flirtatious and all very just very unnatural. Like it was really weird. Like a lot of the things he said was just um very flirtatious and just over the top. Cause like I'm cool if you want to come into my stream and like like flirt a little bit and be like, oh my god, Bonnie, you looking cute today. I'll be like, oh, thank you. But like if you're coming into my streams and talking about how sexy I am and talking about the wording is really what matters, but
Yeah,
just talking about how you want to
wording.
see like more and just comments like that just are very, very dehumanizing, first of all, and
Yeah,
second of all, just very undignified. I just don't
yeah,
like. I felt very uncomfortable, and I told one of my friends about the conversation. I was just like, "This person is not. This person's not a good person. They're very, very sketchy. They are talking to a bunch of the females in this group like we're just cattle to be bought, like, or we're just something to look at." And it's really just, I just don't think they're a good fit. And I really think that we need to band together and get rid of this person. I was just like, they're not a good person. Um, Before they came into my stream, they were DMing me, and I found out later that they had DM'd every single female in the team, trying to get their information, Snapchat, phone numbers, Instagram, trying to get their social media and things like that, which is absolutely horrible. I was just like, his whole intention is just to try to find a girlfriend, basically. Um, and eventually, we ended up banning them and kicking them off the team, thankfully. Um, and then they ended up trying to make their own team, which is funny, but I don't keep tabs on them anymore, so that
yeah,
they're not worth my time. But I knew instantaneously the moment that they started chatting with me, like in my DMs, and then they came onto my stream. Just the moment that they started talking to me, I was like, this guy's not. He's like, I felt just very uncomfortable like the whole time, and I was like, this person is not a good person. Um, and is not the person I want. Is not a type of person I want to surround myself with and let my community deal with. Like, absolutely not.
yeah.
And
It is certainly like that. It is very obvious to anyone who can see it or can hear it. That is just like wording is certainly everything, and you can just tell from his like his pattern of actions in a sense. Like you could tell like that person is not really someone that you want to be around you at all. Like,
Mm-mm.
especially and the fact that I've seen so many of those type of people on Twitch chats to the point where it's not even funny anymore to just see it. I just want to if I'm a mod and I see it, I just want to ban them right away. um, oh god, my elbow. But yeah, it's certainly it, and I feel like a lot of people know for a fact that you need to be careful, especially when you're a new chatter, how you word your compliments. Because when you sent me the photo of you for the thumbnail, I want to say you're looking pretty, and but you can't tell context with a text, can you? So I didn't say that. Um, but at the end of the day, that's once again that's why I didn't say it, because I am also very bad with wording. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm a bit bad with wording unless it's like an inspirational speech, in which case I can somehow pull inspiration out of my ass. I don't know how it works, but yeah, so to see both see the side of the argument where it's yeah, wording is tough, but also seeing the way that people word certain things, I'm just like, if I can do it, if I can restrain myself from saying that exact stuff, why can't you? And it's just frustrating to see. Oh.
Everybody has restraint. Everybody has
Yeah,
restraint. It's just using it. It's
yeah.
and people don't.
And sometimes people just make it so obvious that you don't think they're trying. Like,
Goodness.
someone I remember someone way back in the year 2021, 15 years ago in 2021. There was this person who was being very overwhelmingly complimentary of a certain streamer, and the streamer DM me I think this person has a crush on me, and lo and behold, not only were we both thinking it, but we were both right. They did. And that is a whole, you know, whole thing in itself. I'm not going to talk about that because, of course, I'm not. But it just goes to show that some people just don't have basic streamer etiquette, and sometimes like there's this one person that I just want to rant about for about 15 years. I just want to rant. I want to rant about this person until my hair turns grey or grows back, whichever comes first. Um, but there are certain things you can just see it, and when you see it, you can't unsee it. But when you mention it, no one else can see it. When they sometimes they are asking for free discounts off stuff because of a certain status that they have with the streamer, or and then when they get confronted about it, they just give the streamer shit for this, that, and the other, and making the streamer feel guilty. And I look at it and I'm just like, how can no one else see it? And everyone else looks at it and I don't see anything, and I'm and they think that I'm the one that's gone mad and that I'm the one that needs to be cast out. And yeah, it's just really annoying when you get into those situations, especially when they are masters at manipulation, like that. When they get to the point where they are overwhelmingly complimentary and they are overwhelmingly flirtatious, but they worm their way out of it every time. And the fact that there are people on Twitch like that is bad enough. But the fact that there are people in the world like that, let alone on Twitch, it just makes me mad. Are you okay, Stream Elements? You're not. You're a mod. You can post links. Um, Jesus. But yeah, I'm going to just get off that rant right now, because if I start, I won't stop. But yeah, I feel like we should have one more question of today. What question should we go for? What big question? Um,
Ooh,
oh, this is
I'm
a
ready.
yeah. Um, it's weird because I have a list of questions here, and I've not been basing stuff on this at all. And I've actually got a little question that I didn't realize I put in there, saying how often do you get GFX artists messaging you randomly? I've planned ahead. But
I
yeah,
love that.
I think the question that we should ask is, out of your time streaming, what are the things that you are most and least proud of?
Okay. Okay. Wasn't expecting that one. Like out of all the questions, what is he gonna ask? Um, what am I least and most proud of? Um,
It can be either in like your stream or it can be someone else's stream that you've done, and you're proud. Or I mean, yeah, we'll keep it to that. Keep
uh,
it strictly to that.
what I'm most proud of would be the fact that I was able to get all of my stream. I everything that has been done on my stream, I've basically done myself without just besides a little bit of help from maybe like setting up like my tips and things like that, but everything for my stream I do myself. Like I don't get really any help from anybody else. And the setup for my stream, getting the PC, getting all of the equipment, everything like was due to me putting in my own time, effort, and money and setting it all up and getting it prepared. Which is still one of my proudest accomplishments to this day because like I'm
Like
not gonna
it's
lie,
a
it
lot.
took so much time.
Yeah, it's a lot to
Yes.
do. So that you should definitely be proud of that.
And making the switch from Streamlabs to like properly from Streamlabs to OBS.
Oh yeah,
Oh my God, so thankful. I am
yeah.
so thankful.
I
Oh my
fucking hate
goodness.
Streamlabs.
It is, I genuinely loved it until I actually figured out OBS, and then I was like, why did I ever do that to
Yeah,
myself?
exactly. You don't realize how much harm you're putting yourself in until you've realized something better.
Yes. And I guess the thing I'm least proud of is not being able to stick to a schedule, which may not seem like a lot, but to me, I feel really bad whenever I say that I'm going to stream a day and I can't, or something pops up. Or I only get to stream once a week, or I only get to stream, or I've only streamed once in 2 weeks. I just feel really like that's one of the things I'm least proud of because I really, really enjoy streaming and it just really sucks when I don't have the time to do it. Or something comes up at the last moment and it really just makes me like really upset when I can't because I love streaming and I really want to, but um that's just like something that I have to work on with time management and I'm not good at time management. So I guess that's the thing I'm least proud of is the fact that I cannot manage my time whatsoever.
Yeah, I don't blame you at all for that, to be fair. It's like you said, sometimes things pop up and it stops you from streaming, so you can't stream that day. And when it comes to schedules, especially, they are just so tough to stick to. I,
Yes.
I've on so many occasions tried to make a schedule work, and they just don't after a few weeks. And then something happens and you just don't stream on the day that you really should be streaming, or you're trying to get a big thing going like for a big stream or a big subathon, and then you just go off schedule because you burn yourself out or something like that, and it's like it's always a case of trying to find a balance between when to stream and when to do everything else, uh, and like it's as you said, like it's tough to stick to one, but also like it is something that will also put a bit of a damper on your pride as a streamer. Like that sometimes you can't, in a sense, you can't figure out um your your own body clock in a sense, or like your own mind. Um, and yeah,
That's a good way to put it.
yeah, but at the same time, it's like I think it's something that it's something that you're the least proud of as part of your streaming career. It's also the one thing that you can probably excuse the most as well because because it's tough. Everyone goes through every streamer. If you're a streamer in chat, how difficult is it for you to stick to a schedule on a scale of 1 to 10? If I don't see 10s in that chat, I'll point out the liars. But yeah, it's really tough. Even if he can do it, it's tough. But yeah, that being said, I think that should be where we leave it today.